Scary True Security Guard Horror Stories. Marcus Webb had been working night security at the Riverside Medical Center for 3 months when he first encountered what the day shift guards called the Walker. It was his first solo night shift. His trainer had finally deemed him ready to work alone, and Marcus was feeling confident as he began his rounds at midnight. The hospital had been built in 1923 and expanded multiple times over the decades, creating a labyrinth of corridors, abandoned wings, and sections that were no longer in use but hadn't been demolished. Marcus's rounds took him through all of it: the active hospital floors, the administrative offices, the parking garages, and the old sections that were scheduled for renovation but had been sitting empty for years. Just do your rounds every hour, his supervisor had told him during the handoff. Check all the doors, make sure no one's where they shouldn't be. And Marcus, if you see someone walking in the old East Wing around 3 a.m., just ignore it. Don't follow. Don't investigate. Just mark it in your log and move on. Marcus had laughed at what he thought was a joke. What? You got a ghost? His supervisor hadn't smiled. Something like that. Just trust me on this one. Whatever you do, don't follow the Walker. Now, at 2:47 a.m., Marcus was on the 5th floor of the old East Wing, checking doors that hadn't been opened in years, when he heard footsteps behind him. He turned, his flashlight cutting through the darkness of the abandoned hallway. Nothing. The corridors stretched empty in both directions, old patient rooms lining both sides, their doors closed and locked. Marcus continued his rounds, but the feeling of being followed intensified. The footsteps came again, distinct footsteps, the sound of shoes on linoleum, keeping pace with his own steps but always just behind him. Marcus spun around quickly, tried to catch whoever was messing with him. But again, the hallway was empty. No one there, just shadows and silence. Then he saw it. At the far end of the corridor, barely visible in the emergency lighting, a figure, a man, or the shape of a man, standing perfectly still, facing Marcus. He wore what looked like an old-fashioned hospital gown, the kind patients wore decades ago, and his face was obscured by shadow. "Hello," Marcus called out, his hand moving to the radio on his belt. "Sir, this area is closed. You need to come with me back to the main hospital." The figure didn't respond, didn't move, just stood there, watching. Marcus started walking toward the figure, unease prickling at the back of his neck. Something was wrong about the way the man stood. Too still, too rigid, posture unnatural. As Marcus got closer, his flashlight beam finally reached the figure, and what he saw made him stop dead in his tracks. The man had no face. Where his features should be, there was only smooth, blank skin, like a mannequin. But despite having no eyes, Marcus could feel the thing looking at him, could feel its attention focus on him with terrible intensity. Marcus backed away slowly, his heart hammering. Okay, this is fine. This is the Walker. Don't follow. Don't investigate." But as Marcus turned to leave, to go back the way he'd come, he found his path blocked. The figure, the Walker, was now behind him, having moved impossibly fast and silent. It stood between Marcus and the exit, still motionless, still watching with eyes it didn't have. Marcus's training kicked in. He pulled his radio and called for backup. "This is Webb on the 5th floor East Wing. I need assistance. I have a situation." Static answered him. His radio was dead, just like his phone when he checked it. No signal, battery indicator showing empty despite being fully charged an hour ago. The Walker began to move, not walking normally, but gliding, its feet not quite touching the floor, closing the distance between itself and Marcus with terrifying purpose. Marcus ran. He ran down the corridor, trying doors as he went, looking for any unlocked room to hide in, any escape route. Behind him, he could hear the Walker following, not running, not hurrying, just that same steady gliding movement that somehow kept pace with Marcus's sprint. Marcus found a stairwell door and threw himself through it, taking the stairs 2 at a time, descending toward the ground floor in safety. But when he burst through the door at what should have been the ground level, he found himself in another abandoned corridor. Not the ground floor, not the lobby, but another section of the old east wing he didn't recognize. "That's impossible," Marcus gasped, his breath coming in ragged gasps. "I went down 5 floors. I should be at ground level." But the architecture around him was unmistakably the old east wing, the same peeling paint, the same vintage patient rooms, the same oppressive atmosphere. Somehow, the stairs had brought him back to where he'd started. The walker appeared at the end of the corridor, just standing there, faceless and patient, waiting. Marcus tried another stairwell, ran down 3 floors, and emerged into another corridor. Still the old east wing. Still abandoned. Still wrong. He was trapped. Somehow, impossibly, the building itself had become a maze that kept leading him back to the same place, back to the walker, back to whatever this thing wanted from him. Marcus's radio crackled to life, making him jump. "Webb, this is Control. We're getting strange readings from your location. What's your status?" "I'm trapped," Marcus shouted into the radio. "The old east wing, it's not letting me leave. And there's something here, something following me." "Marcus, listen to me very carefully." His supervisor's voice cut in, tension clear even through the static. "The walker has you in a loop. This happens sometimes. You need to stop running. Stop trying to escape. That's what it wants. It feeds on fear, on panic. You need to face it." "Face it? Are you insane? This thing has no face." "That's not what I mean. You need to stand your ground. Don't let it chase you. The more you run, the stronger it gets, the deeper you get pulled into its territory. Stand still. Let it approach. Don't run." Every instinct Marcus possessed screamed at him to keep running, to keep trying to escape. But he forced himself to stop, to turn around and face the walker that had appeared behind him once again. The thing glided closer, its movement unnatural and terrible. Marcus's legs trembled, his breath coming in short gasps, but he held his ground. The walker approached within 5 feet, 3 feet, close enough that Marcus could smell it, a scent of decay and antiseptic, of death and healing mixed together in a way that made his stomach churn. And then it stopped. The walker tilted its head, as if studying Marcus with eyes it didn't have. Then it raised one hand and pointed down the corridor to a door Marcus hadn't noticed before. The door was different from the others, newer, with a modern handle and a small window. Through the window, Marcus could see the hospital lobby, could see the security desk where he was supposed to be, could see normal light in normal space. "Go!" A voice whispered, not from the walker, which had no mouth, but from the air itself, from the walls, from everywhere and nowhere. "You stood. You didn't run. Go!" Marcus didn't need to be told twice. He walked quickly to the door, keeping his eyes forward, not looking back at the walker. He pushed through the door and stumbled into the lobby, into blessed normalcy, into the real world. His supervisor was waiting at the security desk, looking haggard. "You okay?" Marcus nodded, though he was shaking. "What the hell was that?" "We don't know exactly. The hospital was built on the site of an old asylum that burned down in 1889. Dozens of patients died in that fire, many in the eastern section. Ever since this hospital opened, there's been something in the old East Wing. We call it the Walker. It appears around 3 a.m., and it traps anyone who runs from it, pulls them deeper into a loop they can't escape. But if you stand your ground, if you don't let fear control you, it shows you the way out. And you didn't think to mention this before my first solo shift." His supervisor had the grace to look embarrassed. "We tried telling New Guard before. They never believed us, thought we were hazing them. They go into the East Wing thinking they were being punked, and, Well, some of them never came out. Or they came out changed, traumatized. We found it was better to let them encounter it naturally, with backup standing by. I'm sorry, but you did good. You faced it and came back. Marcus handed in his resignation that morning. Some jobs aren't worth any amount of money, and working in a building where faceless entities trap people in supernatural mazes was definitely one of them. But he still thinks about the walker sometimes, about its blank face somehow watching him, about the way it moved, gliding through space like physics didn't apply, about the door it showed him, the way out it provided only after he stopped running. And he wonders, how many people didn't stop running? How many are still trapped in that loop, in those corridors that twist back on themselves, chased by something that has no face but sees everything? Marcus drives past the Riverside Medical Center sometimes, and on certain nights, around 3 a.m., if he looks up at the windows of the old East Wing, he can see movement, a figure, gliding past the glass, patient and eternal, waiting for the next security guard who doesn't believe the warnings, who runs instead of standing ground, who gets pulled into the loop and never finds a door back out. The hospital still operates. They still hire security guards. And they still have problems with the old East Wing around 3 a.m. The walker is always there, always waiting, always ready to chase those who run, to trap those who panic, to show the way out only to those brave or desperate enough to stand still while something impossible approaches with terrible purpose. Marcus got out. Not everyone does. And somewhere in that abandoned wing, in corridors that loop back on themselves, in a space that exists slightly outside normal reality, those who didn't get out are still running, still searching for an exit that appears only when you stop looking for it. Still followed by the walker with no face, who sees everything and offers one chance to escape, but only if you're strong enough to stand still while your every instinct screams to run.